Good morning, everyone. My name is Councilwoman Crystal Arrieta. I represent District 7 on the Prince George's County Council and also have the pleasure of serving as the Vice Chair of the County Council. Today, I'm here as the lead sponsor of Zoey's Law. What brings us here today is a sad and tragic experience that this family had to live through. Many know that just a normal day that any family feels, they get up every day, they get their child ready for the day, they go out into the world to do what they think are going to be normal, everyday activities. No one imagines that on that day, they might lose what is the most precious thing to them. And for a senseless reason. Something that still leaves the parents not understanding why and what happened. And as a new mom, when I look at my son, I imagine what this family is going through. A simple day where I get him dressed, put him in the car seat, and imagine that that's the last day I see him. And want to know who's responsible and why, and how can we ensure that this doesn't happen to another family. That is what Zoey's Law is about. Sadly, when this happened, a lot of you in this room know that there were multiple cases within a month time span where we saw a tragic incident where a police chase led to a death of an individual that had no involvement with what was going on. We had a young mother of 4 that lost her life in the same circumstances. And we have to ask ourselves, what can we do to ensure that this never happens again? And Zoey's Law is the first step, ensuring that there is a policy in place that says if there are not a violent crime happening at that moment, if police do not know or have information that that person is going to harm someone or be in immediate danger, and they don't have that information readily available, that they do not pursue a dangerous chase that can lead to death. And this is not a maybe it could happen. This is not a what if it possibly happens. We are living right now through multiple tragic incidents where this has happened. And for me, in this moment, when I met with the family, I felt called to do something to ensure that this never happens again. So today I want you to hear from the family of Zoey, the family that is behind this legislation. These are not just pieces of words on a paper, but this is the trauma and pain of a family that is rallying together to ensure that no other family feels the pain that they are feeling now. So first, I would like to call up Miss Gina, the grandmother of little Zoey.
Good day, everyone. You know, the book of Proverbs 31 says, in the book, verse 8 and 9, it says, "Speak up for the people who have no voice, for the rights of all the misfits. Speak out for justice. Stand up for the poor." And with that being said, my name is Gina M. Pryor. I'm the mother of Tanisha Harrison and the grandmother of the late Zoey Rose Harrison. On that heartbreaking day of March 7th, 2025, I received a call from the Prince George's County Police instructing me to get to the University of Maryland Capital Regional Medical Center regarding my daughter, Tanisha Harrison, and my precious granddaughter, Zoey. Tanisha survived the trauma she endured and the unbearable loss of my granddaughter are wounds that may never fully heal. Zoey's life was taken senselessly as the result of careless police chase that should never have happened. This tragedy was preventable had the officers made a different decision, one rooted in sound judgment and concern for the public safety. Zoey would still be here today. I miss her every single day. I miss her laughter. I miss our weekend visits. Her sweet voice calling me on the phone, Mama. And I say, hey, Moo, how you doing? I miss taking her to church. We go to church together. Her little hand sticking in my purse, wanting some chewing gum. Wanting the chewing gum. She brought joy, light, purpose to our lives. Now all we have are memories and a longing for justice. No amount of money or apologies can bring Zoey back. But what we can do, we must do, is to ensure that her death is not in vain. That is why I am standing here today. Zoey cannot speak for herself, but I will speak for her. I will fight for her. I will advocate for her. Zoey's law is not just legislation. It is love in action. It is a call for responsibility, accountability, and change within our law enforcement system. This law will help ensure that officers in Prince George's County are trained not just in tactics, but in judgment, restraint, and compassion. It will require better decision-making, greater oversight, and mental health evaluations to support officers in high-pressure moments. It will protect our families, our neighborhoods, our senior citizens, and most importantly, our children. Zoey's law will prohibit high-speed police chase for low-level, nonviolent offenses that do not pose an immediate danger to the public. This unnecessary chase turn our streets into danger zones and risk the lives of innocent bystanders. We cannot afford to lose another life because of an avoidable decision. Police officers must be held to a higher standard on that respect the value of every life in our community. This law is about justice. It's about humanity. It's about doing what is right. We owe it to Zoey. We owe it to Tanisha and her family. We owe it to every family that has felt the sting of injustice and loss. Zoey's law is moral necessity. It is a promise that no other family will have to suffer as we have. It is a tribute to the life of a beautiful 3-year-old little girl whose light was extinguished far too soon, but whose legacy can shine on by bringing about a change past Zoey's law to protect our communities and honor Zoey Rose Harrison, to ensure her voice is heard through justice, compassion, and lasting reform. Zoey, justice for Zoey. Her life mattered. It still does. And we will never stop fighting for her. Thank you. And I'll have my grandchildren, Zaire and Zaria, come forth.
Okay. Hello. I don't have nothing written down, but I wanted to say that my sister, she should have justice and more. My sister, she was gone. My sister had a lot. She had a long life. She couldn't live. I miss my sister.
Yes.
I miss my sister every day. Nothing nobody could do could bring her back. And it hurts every day. I wish my sister could come in my room and play with me and watch TV or something, but she can't. Every day I have to look at her picture walking in the living room and wish why she couldn't just be here with me. Every day it hurts. But I have to live through it because I still have family here. I want justice for my sister.
Hello, everyone. I'm Zoe's big brother. I don't even know what to say now, because after she died, I couldn't live my life. I just wanted to see her one more day, and she's gone. I just feel so upset. I want to see her. What the...
Now I'd like to ask for Miss Gwendolyn, Zoe's godmother, to join us for a few words.
This is rough. It's a hard one, as you see. It has affected us in so many ways, at so many levels. My name is Gwendolyn Perkins. I'm Zoe's godmother. And this is I had something written up, but I'm going to come from my heart. This is a senseless act. The police didn't think. The person that was driving didn't care. And it caused a tragedy of a 3-year-old precious baby and her mother to live with the tragedy of losing her baby. I am so hurt right now. Sometimes I can't even breathe. Like right now, I barely can breathe. The pain is like a knife sticking in my heart, right? And I can't pull it out. Sometimes I go to the doctor and she tell me it's just anxiety, right? But the pain is real, right? It's close up. It was senseless. And I want justice. Zoey Law is going to protect the community, the senior citizens, other parents from going through this. I can't imagine losing a child through being murdered. Zoey was murdered. I want justice. Zoey Law will put in place where there's no chase, right? You can't chase in this community where there's people, everyday people walking around or living. God knows prevent that the chase might end up in somebody's living room, just killing innocent people. Justice needs to be done. Our law needs to be set. I'm here to have a voice for Zoe, right? I remember her coming that Wednesday, right? And she was fussing with her mother in the car. I wanted to see Mama Gwen. I wanted to see Mama Gwen. And when she came, she gave me the biggest hug in the world, right? And I looked back at her and I said, "Ooh, you really miss me, right?" And she said, "Mm-hmm." And then I got that call Saturday morning saying she was gone. And I was like, "Gone where, right?" I thought she went on a trip somewhere, right? I never imagined that she was never coming back. Zoe laws need to be put in place because it's going to prevent people from feeling like Tanisha, her dad, her siblings. You saw how them babies broke down up here. And we want to prevent people from feeling like that again. My name is Gwendolyn Perkins. I'm Zoe's godmother. Still.
Thank you. Now I'd like to ask Zoe's mom to come up and give us some remarks.
Hello. My name is Tanisha Harrison, and I'm here today as the mother of Zoe. Not just speaking with words, but from a place of unspeakable heartbreak. On March 7th, my Zoey Rose Harrison, my daughter, my beautiful, vibrant, sweet, and 3-year-old, was taken from us in a way no child should ever. She was tragically killed in a senseless high-speed chase. Zoe lit up the room. I'm sorry. Every room that Zoe had lit up. She was full of life, full of love, and she had this way of making everyone around her smile. Her laughter was like medicine. Her hugs was healing, and now our home is quiet in a way that it echoes. I can't hear her say good morning, Mommy, no more. When she wakes up. I'm sorry. What happened that day shattered our family. There's no other way to say it. We don't wake up the same no more. We don't go to sleep the same no more. I couldn't even enjoy my niece's birthday, who just turned 2. Holidays won't be the same. Everything feels different. This is an empty seat and table and an empty space in our hearts. But I'm not here today to point fingers and to place blame. I'm here because I believe in change and I believe in purpose, even in the midst of pain. Councilmember Crystal. I'm sorry. Ms. Orhada is introducing a bill that speaks directly to the kind of heartbreak my family is living through. Her proposal calls for stricter guidelines on accountability and transparency and how those pursuits are reported. This bill can be the difference between life and death. I support this bill because no mother should have to stand where I'm standing. No family should have to wake up to the news that their child didn't come home because of a decision made in seconds that cost a lifetime. This isn't about stopping officers from doing their jobs. Not whatsoever. It's about making sure that when pursuits happen, they're done with care, with oversight, and with our community's safety in mind, especially our children. I hope this bill passes not for me, but for the next Zoe, the next family, the next innocent life that could be caught in the middle of something that had nothing to do with. Thank you, Councilmember Crystal Hart, for seeing us, for hearing us, and for fighting to make sure the pain doesn't become someone else's story. And I truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because you didn't have to do it, but you did.
Yes.
And you saw fit. And I thank God for using you as a vessel. Thank you. And I'll introduce Karen.
Members of the press, members of the public, and the family and friends of Zoey Harrison, good afternoon. My name is Terrence Davis, and I have the honor of representing the estate and family of Zoey Harrison on behalf of Morgan & Morgan, D.C. Over the past few weeks, I've come to know this incredible family. Zoey's godmother, Gwendolyn Perkins, her grandmother, Gina Pryor, her father, Alan Harrison, and her mother, Tanisha Harrison. In spending time with them, I've witnessed unimaginable strength, grace, and resilience. But no amount of strength can fully shield a family from the heartbreak of losing a child, especially under circumstances that were entirely preventable. What happened to Zoey should never happen to any child, any family, ever again. This is why we're here today. Not only to honor Zoey's memory, but to make sure her life continues to have meaning and impact. This legislation, Zoey's Law, represents a commitment by council members to enact real, meaningful change. It sends a message that the safety of innocent lives must always come first, that accountability matters, and that we are capable of learning from tragedy to create a safer community for everyone. The Harrison family is deeply grateful for the prayers, love, and support they have received. But more than anything, they hope this movement sparks change so that no other parent, no other grandparent, no other family ever has to carry the burden of this kind of loss. Zoey's light will continue to shine, not just in the hearts of those who loved her, but in the protection that this legislation will bring for generations to come. On behalf of the family, I thank you all for being here today, and justice for Zoey.
Thank you. I want to thank all of the family members. I know it was difficult to stand here today, but I thank them for their strength and their willingness to fight through the pain to ensure that change happens. The family won't be taking any questions today, but I will, or their representation for the family will. I'll open it up for any questions. Yes.
So your bill pretty much already matches the general orders that the Prince George's County Police operate under. Are you targeting the municipalities here?
It is both. The reality is that we can have internal policies and procedures, and then there's what the law is. The reality is that some of the incidences that we've faced in Prince George's County have been municipalities, and sometimes it's been Prince George's County Police. And so it's about codifying what the rules are in the law of the county. It can't just be an internal policy that doesn't have the same weight as the chief saying, let's not do this. If it's saying, no, the law says you are not able to do this, and it gives grounds for punishment if an officer breaks what is clearly the law. So our goal is to stop this from actually happening. There's a reality that they might say this is not the case, but the data and the incidences that we're looking at, what happened to little Zoey and other families, are a direct contradiction to what they're saying the reality is. And so this is about making a clear stance that this is the law of Prince George's County, and then holding accountable any jurisdiction, be it municipality or the Prince George's County Police, that step out of line of this law.
Okay, and the Attorney General already investigates these things. You'd like to have another review board? Are you not satisfied with how that's working out?
The reality is that we also need to look at the full picture. So when incidents happen with the officers, there is an entity that looks at that one incident and they send down a ruling and then steps are taken. But the reality is we need to see what the full picture is. Having the data of how often this happens, what are the cases that this happens in, it will be important for us to keep accountability to the police department, because the reality is that we're standing here for Zoey's Law, but at the same time, within a month's span, we saw 2 other people lose their life. Who's to know what the data looks like for injury plus loss of life across time? And so we need to look at the data and evaluate what are the real numbers behind this tragedy, and to ensure that it never happens again is to let them know we're watching. And we're going to be looking at the data, and we're going to be looking at it every year to see the cases and what's going on. And there's going to be a real accountability put on police chases that I don't think has been before.
Okay, and thanks for everybody's patience. My last question.
Yes.
The culpability of those who run from the police. Right? When you and I spoke immediately after this story, there were a police advocate who said, hey, no, this is about the people who run.
Yeah, it is also about the individuals who run. I feel that they should have already been charged. I think they should be held accountable for the murder of young Zoey. And so they are in no way, shape, or form not responsible party in what happened. But there's also a reality of the government to say that we also have to be accountable for the policies and the procedures of our government. When you are sworn, take a oath to protect the community, you have a power of wielding your gun and your badge and your vehicle. And the reality is that you also have to be held to a higher standard of accountability. So in no way, shape, or form is that person not responsible and should not be held responsible at the highest height possible in the law for what happened to young Zoey.
What is the punishment under your bill, and would it supersede whatever municipality departments decide their rules should be here?
So the bill talks about mainly 2 parts. One, tracking the information, and then making it so that it's not a policy or procedure that police can do. So they are still unionized, and so they're the policies and procedure for punishment for law enforcement lay in the bargaining unit and the rules that are laid out. So we don't have the authority to supersede what their union agreement states, but this is clearly making it a policy to ensure that it's enforceable if they break it. So our goal is to, when the negotiation table comes again and we talk about punishment for law enforcement officers for different violations, my goal is that this can have a strict penalty attached to it, because the reality is that this one moment can take someone's life. And there has to be consequences that make someone think twice before taking that action.
So it's setting a clear standard in the collective bargaining process for how their rules go, as opposed to like an actual law.
That's the goal, yes.
Is the collision investigation still ongoing, and this person that was behind the wheel is not in charge?
That would be something that the state's attorney's office would be better equipped to answer. The last time I had checked, the investigation was still ongoing and the individual had not been charged, but that was just the last time I inquired about it, and I'm not sure if there's been an update since then.
And the officer involved I think there was 2 officers involved in the chase, what? It was the first officer and then a second municipality picked up?
Yeah, so it touched different municipalities. To your point, there was an initial call and a stop, then something put out, then other officers pursued the chase. So it includes not just one police department.
Do you know, were those officers ever suspended, or?
I'm also not aware of any, or if there has been any punishment, or what that punishment would be, which is another reason for this legislation and transparency. Because I don't think this would ever come to light, at least for us as council members or the community, to get clear understanding of what's going on, what the outcomes are, and holding people accountable. And I think that's part of what the family is asking for in the community, is more transparency.
Do you know what kind of support you have
I feel confident about this legislation, moving forward. We won't know till the day that we take the final vote. But for most of my colleagues that I've spoken to about this legislation, they understand the need for it. They stand in solidarity with this family. And anyone that knows me, I will fight for my bills to pass. So I expect this to be no different.
Can you build out the accountability piece? Really, two questions. The accountability piece is not creating an additional civil or criminal penalty. This is, I think, as you explained it, creating an internal rule that if it is broken, then there's a procedure in place for violations already, and this would kind of be added to that list of rules, right?
Mm-hmm. That's our goal, yes.
Okay. And then would this, because this is a Prince George's County, if this were to pass, this is solely Prince George's County, would this also empower the IID to look at this when they are examining a situation like this and say whether or not that policy was violated? Would that be part and parcel of their internal investigation too, or would they remain separate?
Our goal is to allow this to be a tool that can be used by all bodies that investigate. And as many know, there was legislation that was pending on the state level to also make this a state law that didn't pass. So I wanted to do my part on the local level. And our goal is to still push this on the state level. I think it's something that we should look at across the state, not just here in Prince George's County. But we want to ensure that everybody that is in charge of looking at our police departments and holding them accountable have clear language that says that this is a policy that is against regulations here in Prince George's County. And I see that we did start counsel, so I want to make sure I'm there for presentation. So again, thank you all, and I appreciate if there's any questions, please let me know afterwards. And thank you to the family.